Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ITB. It is Andrew here, and we have yet another roundup, this time with the best HomeKit products available for under $50. To start off our list, we're going to look at a few products available from Elgato and their Eve lineup of smart home accessories. The first one that has pretty much been indispensable for me has been the Eve door and window sensor. Simply attaches to any door or window and lets you know anytime that it is open. So you can check on if you've left a window open or a door has been cracked open, and you can use that to automate other processes. For instance, every time you open that door, the lights come on. It's a great way to automate your outside doors. For instance, whenever I take my dog out in the middle of the night, I don't really have a motion sensor out on the patio. There aren't really any outdoor motion sensors available other than what's built into a camera perhaps. But this way, whenever I open the door to take the dog out, my patio and outdoor lights will automatically turn on for me. For inside, you don't have to rely on these contact sensors across all of your doors to know when people are in rooms. You can simply use a motion sensor instead, and Eve has one of those as well. It has a large motion sensor on the front as well as an LED light to let you know when motion has been detected. This is probably one of the most affordable motion sensors that are currently on the market, at least in a standalone HomeKit motion sensor. It is great for pretty much any room, whether it's in the kitchen, the bathroom, dining room, living room, bedroom, anything like that. I love putting in places like the kitchen, the hallways, or the bathrooms. That way when the lights come on for you automatically, they can turn on to different brightnesses throughout the day. For instance, during the day, they can turn on with full brightness, but in the evenings, you may only want them at, say, 25%. You can also have things turn off automatically when motion has stopped being detected. So once you leave a room, the lights will turn off and you don't have to worry about turning them off yourself. All of the different HomeKit lights are really handy, but they're even more powerful when you can automate them. And the Eve motion sensor is a great way to get started in that. Another option for turning your lights on and off instead of having to use all of the different outlets is a smart wall switch. The Eve light switch is just that. It connects via Bluetooth and can turn off any of your lights. You can also pair it to other HomeKit accessories that you have in the room. So instead of just turning on your ceiling lights with this, you can also have it turn on any HomeKit connected lamps or bulbs that you may have in the same room. That way your one wall switch will now turn on everything and not just what's connected to that switch. Being that it is Bluetooth instead of Wi-Fi, it is also more affordable than many of the other wall switches that we've seen. If you have anything that you need to plug into the wall, that's where things like the Eve Energy Smart Outlet come into play. Now you can easily turn on and off and automate anything you have plugged in. You can also schedule them to turn on and off when you'd like, view data and insights on how much electricity and how much time they spend on, as well as turn them on and off using Siri. The Eve one is particularly useful compared to some of the others because it does give you that analytical insight into how much electricity you've been spending on those particular lights. So even if you don't often use it for the HomeKit capabilities, you could use it easily for the energy monitoring capabilities. Other than lights, you can easily automate other things like fans, humidifiers, and dehumidifiers. And using other analytics and data from other HomeKit accessories, you can automate those to turn on and off based on the room conditions. The next HomeKit accessory maker that we're going to take a look at is LIFX. And now they are actually a recent addition into the HomeKit market, using a software update to enable their previous products to add HomeKit capabilities. They have two main products that are going to come in under $50, and that is the standard LIFX bulb and the LIFX Mini. The big difference is the LIFX Mini is about half the price, but is also much less bright than the bigger counterpart. So depending on what you're looking for, you can spend almost $50 on the full brightness, crazy bright bulb, great for big rooms, or you can go a little bit cheaper and get the LIFX Mini, which is definitely smaller, but not quite as bright. It's going to be more comparable in brightness to the entire Philips Hue lineup instead. Of course, they're also multicolored, so you can go through all the different colors. If you don't want colors, they have a white ambiance version that gives you different shades of white for a little bit less, and even cheaper than that is a sole white, no color changing, but still HomeKit smart capabilities. One of Apple's standby accessory makers, iHome, has also entered the game with a pair of different smart plugs. There's the standard home control smart plug, which is their basic indoor power outlet. It is very narrow compared to the others, allowing you to easily plug in two into a standard outlet. That's why it is a little bit wider and not quite nearly as tall. Just like the others out there, it is super handy for being able to turn on and off different accessories. Currently right now, I have this plugged into my Christmas tree. So I'm going to have my Christmas tree turn on automatically every time that I get home and turn off during the night. You could also have it plugged into things like the dehumidifiers and fans. I've had this plugged into the dehumidifier during the summer, so you could easily turn the dehumidifier on when the humidity in my rooms were getting a bit too high. You can also see here it plugged into a air purifier. So I use the Netatmo weather system for inside. It would monitor the air quality, and this would turn on whenever it detected poor air quality, which was great having it in the kitchen. The other option is an outdoor smart plug. We did not have one of these on hand to test, but if it's anything like their other product, it should be perfectly fine to test. It is also more affordable than the iDevices option. This is another great option to automate your outdoor Christmas lights during the holidays. Pure Gear has an interesting take on the standard smart plug for HomeKit. It has a little bit of a different shape and look than many of the other ones that we've seen. It has kind of this circular design with those status lights right on the front. It has a manual power button on the top, which is a little bit small and kind of hard to hit, but you shouldn't have to use that very often. You should just be able to use your phone 90% of the time. I don't know why you necessarily have to do that unless you didn't have your phone around. But what is particularly useful is it also has a built-in USB port. So you can easily plug this in, get control of whatever's in your outlet, but also have a bonus USB port to charge whatever it is you have lying around. Quite honestly, pretty much all these smart plugs should have something like built in. It makes complete sense because you're already turning that outlet into something else. Why not add that extra USB port? It doesn't cost anything extra than pretty much any of the others on the list, but integrates that extra flexibility and more options into an existing product. So this is a great idea. I love having that additional USB port built right into a very reliable smart plug. One of my favorite companies for a long time now has been iDevices. They produce some awesome connected accessories, and their iDevices wall switch is also great. It is very comparable to pretty much any of the others on the market. It connects over Wi-Fi, and as a nice added touch, it has a bonus light there on the front that you can see that actually acts as a night light, and you can control that completely separately. And of course, you also get insights through the iDevices app. Koogeek has basically been the go-to for affordable HomeKit accessories. They have a ton of them here on the list, and we're going to walk through all of their accessories that are available below that $50. They have some that inch just a hair above it, but we're going to look at these accessories that are definitely on the affordable side, starting off with their standard smart plug. It is a no-frills smart plug, easy access outlet right on the front there. On the top is a button to manually turn it on and off if you ever need to. Currently, I have one of these plugged into my fish tank, and I use this to automate the lighting system to have it turn off at night and turn on during the day. It is super handy, but just very minimalistic. There's not a lot to it. Very easy to operate and pretty much works as expected as any other HomeKit light switch. If you are looking for another option for a wall switch, the Koogeek one is a great option. It has a status light right on the front, replaceable wall switches, replaceable wall plates, and you can easily turn it on and off your lights. These are perfect for any lighting situations where you can't easily replace the bulbs, whether it's like an outdoor patio light or a bunch of ceiling track lights. You can easily just use this switch to automate all of those bulbs by replacing one receptacle on your wall. Personally, I don't see a lot of uses for this next accessory, and basically it's a socket. You plug it into an existing light fixture and then plug in the bulb into this. It adds quite a bit of height to whatever bulb you're plugging in, and it actually didn't fit into some of the lamps that I tried to use it on. The bulb simply stuck out of the top. However, I could imagine a few scenarios where this might be useful. Perhaps there are some larger bulbs that are in the ceiling, or ones that you already have that you don't necessarily want to replace. This can easily fit into many existing fixtures as long as they aren't too width sensitive or height sensitive, and it works with pretty much any bulb that you already have out there. Maybe you don't want to buy a bunch of expensive Philips Hue downlights to put into your ceiling. You can easily put in these affordable adapters and then simply get cheaper bulbs to replace over time. As far as use goes, it works just fine. There's an easy switch on the side to turn it on and off if you ever manually need to do so. Otherwise, you can just control it from the app, and it works exactly as you'd expect that it would. So technically, I lied just a minute ago when I said I'm not going to touch on any other accessories that are a little bit above 50, but this one's really cool, and it's the only one like it on our list, and that is the Koogeek Power Strip. It actually has 3 separate outlets built into it, as well as a series of USB ports. It's really handy to plug in multiple things at once and control them all separately. I do wish that maybe it had a few more outlets in here. I don't know how many power strips that I have lying around that only have 3 outlets, but those added USB ports add a lot more functionality. They even label them as to the charging speed. So the first 2 are going to be good for iPhones, and that third one's going to be fastest for the iPad. There are 3 different outlets on there, all with their own individual buttons to manually turn them on and off if you ever needed to. Koogeek also released an slightly updated version of their smart plug. It just has a little bit better of a design, still a really easy access button along the top, a status light on the front as well as the outlet itself. HomeKit code is still printed right there on the bottom, and it fits easily flush and snug against your wall. Again, perfect for just anything you need to automate that's not a light: fans, humidifiers, dehumidifiers, air purifiers, even my girlfriend's like straightening iron. We can plug into this and make sure that she turns it off when she leaves for work. If you're looking for another smart bulb, this is on the cheaper side, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. We have a few better options on the list. This is another smart bulb. It is a little bit on the heavier side and it is a little bit large, but it'll definitely get you going. And if you're looking for picking up everything from Koogeek together, this is definitely a good option. The last product that we have to look at from Koogeek is the Smart Dimmer. It comes in right around $50 and allows you to easily control and dim your light. So it isn't just an on and off, it'll actually allow you to variably change the brightness of those lights. So if you have any built-in lights already on your ceiling, you wouldn't be able to control those, just not only on and off, but be able to dim them, then this is going to be the perfect option for that. It is a built-in wall switch, so you do need to get into that receptacle and do a little bit of a minor wiring and installation, but they're fairly easy to do. There's tons of instructions out there, so don't be too intimidated by it because it is still a really, really handy accessory. You don't have to replace a bunch of bulbs, just replace one receptacle and you get that dimming capability and smart home. Man, Philips Hue almost did not make this list because I thought there was no way that we could include Philips Hue if you were not able to get a bridge for underneath that $50. And luckily, you can pick up a starter pack with 2 white ambiance bulbs and the bridge for less than $50 right now. So I think that can definitely bring it into the list and get you started with that smart home lighting. Of course, if you already have the updated Bridge 2, which brings that HomeKit capability, then you don't need a starter pack and you can just jump right in and start adding additional bulbs, and pretty much all of those can be found for under that $50. The bridge is the gateway that connects the light bulbs themselves, which talk to one another over Zigbee, to your wireless network and gives you that HomeKit capability. So if you want to have any smart home control, doing anything with HomeKit, you do need the updated bridge. But once you have that, there are a ton of bulbs to choose from, including the full color lights, the white ambiance light, and the Hue white. There are so many options. Pretty much if you have a fixture in your house, whether it's down lights, standard lights, even candelabra ones, they can be found inside of the HomeKit ecosystem pretty much for under $50. So to summarize again real quick, there are 2 different starter packs that you can get for Philips Hue. The more expensive one has 3 bulbs and the bridge, but they're all color bulbs, or you can get the cheaper one, $50 or less, for 2 white ambiance bulbs and the bridge, which is a great getting started pack to start picking up additional bulbs and building out your smart home. They are very handy. You can do everything you can do with any other HomeKit bulb, though they do require the bridge, which some people consider a bit of a downside, but it can make them more affordable. There are many other options instead of just other bulbs. I mentioned there's the candelabra bulb, which is fairly new. It comes in a white ambiance version as well as a full color option. I use some of these on my outdoor patio lights because they are the candelabra super tiny small bases, so they're right by my house. They can easily connect to Zigbee and be controlled from inside or any light switches that I may have. There are also tons of other accessories like the Philips Hue motion sensor, which has been upgraded to work with HomeKit very recently actually. So if you do have the Philips Hue bridge, you can use pretty much any of the HomeKit or any of the Philips Hue accessories to work with HomeKit. Motion sensor is always great. I use one of these in my kitchen, so anytime I come in, depending on the time of day, the lights turn on to different degrees of brightness and then turn off automatically once motion has stopped being detected. It also has a few different mounting options. There's a handy little magnet in there that you can use to affix to a wall or to a fridge, or you can just let it freestand on your bookshelf and table wherever you want to place it. But it's a lot smaller than the Eve motion sensor that we looked at earlier in this video. But again, the downside, you have to have that Philips Hue bridge to make it work. Aside from the motion detector, there's also a dimmer switch which has 4 separate configurable HomeKit buttons. They don't need to just control your Philips Hue lights. They can turn on any smart outlets, even shades or garage door opener, whatever you have connected to HomeKit. The same thing can be said for the Philips Hue tap, which is another different type of switch. It has 4 different buttons on there that you can configure to do anything you'd like inside of your HomeKit world, setting specific scenes or turning specific devices on or off. The Philips Hue ecosystem is really powerful and one of the ones I recommend most, even if it does require the bridge. Sylvania has also recently jumped into the HomeKit market with their Smart Plus line of lighting products. They have a few different ones, including a light strip. We have their Smart Plus standard bulb. They also have a white version of this, so you don't have to get the full color option, even though the full color is pretty awesome, and it comes in a reasonable price. They connect over Bluetooth, so they don't require any hub to connect. Simply connect just right to your phone. So a really great option that comes in at a really affordable price. So that rounds it out. I believe that is over 20 different HomeKit products that we've looked at here in complete different degrees of versatility, from switches to outlets to dimmers to motion sensors and pretty much everything in between. All of these are great ways to start or expand your smart home. And once you have one or a few of these products, getting into the automation is really what is key. Being able to have them control one another and to automate when you arrive or leave, or when someone gets there, unlocks the door, whatever your situation may be, you can pretty much do it with HomeKit. With iOS 11, HomeKit gets even more powerful. You can do things that you couldn't even do in the past. So if you have any questions, need suggestions, anything like that, let me know down below in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. Otherwise, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and until next time, this is Andrew for iDB.